Over recent years in the NFL, we've seen some bad coaches. From Hugh Jackson to Adam Gase to a little bit further back, Bobby Petrino, plenty of coaches have come into the NFL and failed almost hilariously with their respective teams. But never, at least that I can remember, have we seen a season-long comedy of errors like we saw this past season with Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yo, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the channel. As you could tell by the intro, in today's video I'm going to be talking about Urban Meyer, who, as we all know, was just recently, finally, fired by the Jacksonville Jaguars in just the season-long comedy of errors that's gone on this year in Jacksonville, and why, in my opinion, this might go down as the worst head coaching hire in NFL history. But without further rambling, let's go ahead and get into the video. Urban Meyer was hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars on January 14th, 2021, as we all know, coming off of a storied college coaching career where he led both Ohio State and Florida to national championships in two separate states. He had a total record of 83-9 at Ohio State and 65-15 at Florida, and a 187-32 record as a college coach, making him a pretty attractive hire from face value coming into his time in the NFL. However, many questioned, myself included, if he would be able to do the same kind of job and have the same kind of success at the NFL level like he did in college. Throughout history, from Lou Holtz to Nick Saban to Bobby Petrino, most college coaches haven't turned out very well in the NFL, but the Jacksonville Jaguars were willing to take the chance on Urban Meyer, and as we can see now, didn't exactly work out. So let's look at the timeline. After being hired in January, it didn't take super long for things to start to go bad for Urban Meyer. We've seen throughout the season just the lists of slip-ups and media just firestorms all around their franchise. But starting all the way back right around when he got hired, it started with hiring Chris Doyle to be the team's director of sports performance. As many people know, many people might not know, Doyle was at Iowa before and was known for being a bit of a racist, making racist comments and belittling a lot of black players during his time at Iowa, creating just a intolerant and racist atmosphere at his time in Iowa. So to a lot of people, this might have been the first time that something was wrong. A lot of people might have brushed it off, be like, oh no, it's Urban Meyer, he knows what he's doing, Okay. After that, drafted a running back in the draft, first round in the draft as well, after already having drafted a running back the previous year in James Robinson, who arguably was the best offensive player on that team, and then openly admitted in the media that he wanted to draft Kadarius Toney, but he didn't know what to do after that, so just went and drafted a running back, Travis Etienne, who got injured and did just about nothing this past season. He also, during the off season, going into camp, decided to sign his good buddy Tim Tebow. You know, his guy at Florida. Hadn't been in the NFL for years, had been working as a TV guy at SC Network, but signed him to the squad. And this was where it really started to turn before the season had even started for Urban Meyer. This is where a lot of people say that the locker room started to lose trust in him for bringing in a guy to camp, bringing in a guy around the team who really had no business being there. And when you lose trust of the team, when you lose the locker room, there's really no coming back from that, especially at the NFL level. After that, he had the little slip up where he was talking about cutting players due to their vaccine status, which got him in trouble with the NFLPA and wasn't the best look. That was just another minor thing among the many major things. There was the whole Gardner Minshew situation, which is neither here nor there. I was an advocate for Trevor Lawrence starting, but it was a bit of a interesting move for him to just get rid of a veteran quarterback like that rather than maybe letting Trevor Lawrence learn behind him. But I'll cut him some slack for that. Lawrence hasn't had the best season, but hey, he's still a really good player, and it'll be interesting to see how he does with Meyer now gone. Now, week 4. Yeah, this is where it starts to get bad. So week 4, Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Cincinnati, Ohio. Not Urban's hometown, but a town where Urban spent a lot of time in. Went to college there, spent a lot of time there, has his own restaurant there. So they play the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football. Really good game, especially for me as a Bengals fan. But they would go on to lose, come back, a bit of a heartbreaking loss for the Jaguars. But after that game, I guess, Urban just needed to blow off some steam, or, just couldn't handle the loss, had to stay in town a couple more days. So rather than traveling back with the team, he decided to stay in Cincinnati and visit his old restaurant over in good old Cincinnati, his new, somewhat of his hometown. While he was there, he is filmed and caught on camera, let's say, enjoying himself with a young woman, not his wife, no relation whatsoever. And let's just say the media was not kind to him after that, which, they shouldn't be. I mean, I'm not going to go speak on, anything with the man's immoral. That's personal business, but I can tell you this, it wasn't a good look. So that is when everything just kind of blew up. It was at that point where if the locker room and the fans and everybody weren't taking him serious then or before, now it was over. And at this point, it already just felt like he was a dead man walking. The Jaguars, Saban, one of the more patient, definitely one of the more patient owners in the NFL after seeing this. So he's like, we're going to stick with them. We're going to stick with them after this, when most owners, most GMs probably would have fired their coach after that, and justifiably so. But they decided to stick with them, and it didn't really get any better. They would go on to win 2 games, over the next month or so, but it just kept getting worse. Now we move on to the incident with James Robinson getting benched for no real reason. Benching your star player after a fumble shows you probably just don't really like the guy, and if you don't really like the guy, if you can't get over little petty stuff like that, you probably shouldn't be coaching at the NFL level. And then we have the big one, the one that ended up doing him in for good. Josh Lambo, kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, put out a statement when talking to a reporter that before a preseason game, he'll just say, keep it clean for you two, that him and Urban Meyer exchanged some words pregame, which ended with Urban Meyer kicking his kicker, Josh Lambo. Not, as Lambo described, not a full force kick, but definitely not a love tap either. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't think you can really do that, especially not in the NFL. And this goes to the key point of why Urban Meyer and just about every college coach has failed at the NFL level, because you just can't be the same kind of tyrant general in the NFL that you are in college. I mean, look at Nick Saban, for example. Nick Saban, at this point, without a doubt, the greatest college head football coach of all time. But he went to the NFL and it didn't work out for him. Not because he's a bad coach. He's won how many national championships now? It's, and he's in the conversation every year with Alabama. But in the NFL, it's just different. And if you don't have that personality or can't adapt to that kind of personality and that kind of lifestyle in the NFL, you're not going to succeed. It didn't work with Nick Saban, didn't work with Lou Holtz, didn't work with Bobby Petrino, and obviously, as we can see now, did not work with Urban Meyer. And Matt Rule, another example. He's still there, but he's not exactly doing the greatest job in Carolina. So, goes to say, Urban Meyer, if you ask me, they should have seen this coming. Already, obviously Urban Meyer was a very successful coach in college. I think that's another thing that gets lost. Urban Meyer was an awful NFL head coach, and you can say might not be the best person either, looking at the things that he's done. But you can't say that he's just a bad coach in general, because he was a legend, one of the greatest college head coaches of this generation. But he was a great college coach. Great college coaches don't necessarily always make great NFL coaches. Matter of fact, most of the time they don't. And especially too, when you look at the baggage that he already had in college, I struggled to see at the time how that was a good move for the Jaguars. And especially now, you almost like firing Urban, but the person who hired Urban should be fired. Now, I'm not going to go out and say all that, but I think we can go look at this now and say, at least make an argument, this might be the worst hire for a head coach in NFL history. Yo, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think of this whole situation with Urban Meyer? Where do you think it compares to other bad hires in NFL history? And what do you think is next for Urban Meyers and also the Jaguars? Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, until the next time, Godspeed.